Men have adopted a female brain, other than me, and they have failed to do the bare minimum of God's requirement. They are far from having honor, and they have completely disgraced themselves and their ancestors. Women were expected to be receptive to the divine male, which I am the only one of. Now, if you're skeptical right now, by the time I'm done with this video, you'd be an idiot not to see it my way. Let's consider tech and technique. The spirit versus science and flesh. Scientific racism and the dragon, the magic spell. Puff the magic dragon, right? A magic spell. Spelling interchangeable vowels. Vowel to L. Which one? The devil, the storm god, the one true God. Which one? Okay, obviously the storm god is not the one true God. So nerd, okay, is actually something you can get from the scramble and wordplay of dragon. The dragon in his pure form is the nerd. He's not a man. He's blurred the line between a male and a female. He's taken on this sissy kind of sit at home with the women kind of apron having ninny perspective. Okay? The nerd, the dragon, drain. Okay? It's also connected to the idea of no gear and the bookworm. Worm, when you look it up, is an archaic word for snake. Okay? The nerd is the bookworm, is the snake, and is the continuity of this evolving ancient snake. The nerd is the dragon. Where do the date rape drugs come from? Where do the bombs come from? Was it not science that allowed for colonialism? Would they not be just savage brutes outmaneuvered naturally by martial art heroes? How can the forms of those savage brutes be greater naturally and spiritually than God? How can they be preferable to the natural hero? How can women miss this with the abundance of evidence that I've gone over time and time again that has been presented to them? What is a true man of moral worth? Is Jesus dressed in rags? Or is he dressed in a three-piece suit, in a tuxedo or something? How can they miss this? So again, nerd. Dragon, you get nerd. You also get gay nerd when you scramble it. You take the G and the O, you put it in front. You take the N, the A, and the R and the D. You scramble it, make it nerd, and replace the A with the, replace the A with the E to make it nerd. So you get gay, gay from go, nerd, dragon, right? Blurring the line. Now, it's not necessarily that he's a homosexual. It's that he's in the feminine, female energy. Okay? He's a feminine, right? He's the gay nerd. He's the core of this. But what is the right wing doing? Set, the Republican, the tax collector. For who? For the source of the taxes, the core of the problem, the dragon. They are the muscle. They are the feminine, the female energy having muscle of the dragon that they have gone as far as to redefine as the male. Okay? Only because they're not the source of the problem, that without the nerd empowering them, they are just brutes that can be easily outmaneuvered. Are they not more guilty or just as guilty? However, they're all guilty. And they're all in defiance of God. And none of them can be a redeemer. No, I am the last redeemer. We'll get to that momentarily. So let's look at the Western spectrum. From the no gear, the N-word, the ignorant argument, right? They had the nerves, on top of all their treachery and defiance of God, to call black people, which is among their race, is the soul brother, the one, the king of kings, the natural top martial artist. As Pharaoh was also called the king of kings before Jesus. What is the true idea there? It is the true natural alpha. So in Jesus is the alpha argument and the beta argument. The omega argument, if you will. The something else argument. Okay. So, the truth is the alpha. There's one way. There's not both. Okay. Now, I can go on and on about why I'm right there. Let's just get to the Western spectrum. At the Western spectrum of masculinity, you'll be surprised, right? Make no mistake, the nerd is at the highest spectrum of it from the Western perspective. Their argument is tech, right? No gear. Versus, look at my big gun. You know, I'm a redneck with a big gun. Boom, right? What's above him? Some Marvin the Martian type ninny with superior technology. The nerd, like the CEO of Amazon or wherever, the founding president, whoever that guy is, right? You know, they're supposed to be the richest guy on the planet. He's a nerd. And he's effeminate. For better or worse, to be diplomatic. Anyway, so we got the nerd, the special forces, the military, the police, the white militia, and other militia types, the gangs with more access to technology, the other gangs, the common clubs, the groups of friends, the techie loner, the martial art loner, and then everyone else. Look how low on the scale of masculinity the martial art actually is when you actually apply the Western perspective and their stated argument, their actual argument, really. Okay? He's way down there. How can someone who can outmaneuver someone naturally with the spirit of righteousness and maturity and focus, maturity and righteousness and intensity and everything in a superior fashion be beneath all these groups of complicit, sick, neo-colonialist, rape cult traitors? How could that be? Because the West is lying. They are deceiving. They are leading the world astray. They are the great set-in. Okay? The Son ate. Okay, the wordplay. Scramble it. The Son ate. The Son of God ate. They're consuming the idea through reproduction of the martial art hero, so you have no point of reference. You have no possibility for righteousness, only ill-gotten gains and who's more evil than who. Okay? And your brain function is part of why. Okay? So we must look at why are women continuing the rape cult cycle. It is the lack of a strong point of reference that they accept. It is the lack of righteous direction that they accept. They have rejected me. Okay? It is a lack of effective brain function. Okay? The brain function allows them to be corporate leaders. All kinds of sickos and psychopaths, right? Right here. 20% of CEOs are psychopaths. Where is it? Right here. 20% of CEOs, I don't know, it's kind of dark in here. I had to make it early because they fume me if I don't make the video right away when I wake up. And if I do, it takes away from my image in more than one way. It distorts my features and so on and so forth with the lighting. Okay, and I can't use that white light, okay, because my eyes are sensitive to the light. But anyway, why do they continue this dishonor? Well, first, let's understand what a superior woman is. Is a superior woman a Western female using white supremacy and mental health to practice a Western twist of Kung Fu? No. The superior woman is more like a king samurai's wife. A king. He has no one else to answer to. He only answers to the highest principles of morality. He's king samurai. He's yellow sun, not red. King samurai who truly honors the top martial arts position. Okay? Top martial arts is not a samurai, but this is the closest, this is a way to convey the idea. The king samurai's wife, she has the utmost standard of honor, of a divine sacred temple. This is the temple where she's going to bring in the prince. Can she go sleep around with a bunch of corporate sex cult bitches? No. Is she supposed to kill herself before being raped by them? Yes. Why? Because she's sacred to the king and to the process of the cultural center of society, which is the king's bloodline from top martial artist to top martial artist. You follow me? She must commit seppuku if she's about to be raped. If she can't find a way around it and they're coming for her, she must kill herself or fight to the death, shoot arrows at them if they get too close, then slit her throat and kill herself. Okay? She must die. The samurai's wife must die before being raped. Okay? Or she's continuing the cycle of dishonor, which is dishonor. The dishonor is contributing to the opposition's dishonor. And that is who they are. They are dishonor. They are disgrace. They are rape cult bitch. Again, my brother just moving in downstairs, so I have to keep it down. And this is sad because they have continued the dishonor because I have to be here in my parents' house. I'm being financially sabotaged and so on and so forth. But we'll get to that, if we have time at the end. There's a lot to go through. Anyway. So the question is to be or not to be, and why? To be what or not to be? To be alive, Live is evil backwards. To be or not to be, and why? Why does mental health go so far to control life and death and to support rape cult-derived social norms? Corporate-sponsored, corporate means body, focus on the body, sexualized culture, rape cult social norms. Well, it goes back to my video the other day. Do women deserve to be punished? Do they deserve to be executed for complicity? Well, if you serve, then you know that she deserves to die. Okay? And she should fight to the death or kill herself. Okay? I'm not necessarily saying that's what she should do. For the rules of this piece of shit fucking YouTube. Okay? Moving on. Life is like a race to correct yourself. If she can correct herself in time and be redeemed sincerely with contrition, right, before I die, then she doesn't deserve to die. It's a race. After I'm gone, the race is over. Everyone who's going to heaven has gone. You're like, I finished, guys. No one fucking cares. And you can't finish because you need a redeemer. Who is going to correct you? The children of ill-gotten gains who are in the rape cult cycle? No. Only Pharaoh can redeem you. No one else can. Only I can redeem you. No one else can. We'll get to that if we have time. Moving on. Okay, so they're continuing the cycle. Okay, we must understand that some people are too evil to reason with. The people in charge, especially. According to their own Western, argument, they say 20% are psychopaths. Well, how many are narcissists? How many are sociopaths? So on and so forth. Do the math. They're all sick. Okay? So you have to prioritize the woman's fate and the kids because they have been bred to sit in the village and be unaware of the war that's taking place. They're not bred to understand warfare. They are not bred to be aware. A of A's war with the E. It's right there in the word. They're not bred to be that. But they have the reason, and they're organized, and there's more women in higher education than men. They have the ability to reason and say it is wrong not to submit. So they are expected to reason with this abundance of evidence in this information age and to know to submit to Pharaoh. They should know what to look for in a guy and not to value finding their life, which is valuing a provider. He's providing the bread from the devil. Money is the root of all evil. He's got his paycheck. He's in check by who? By Babylon's system of mysteries and covering up the light. Come on. This is not being the top martial artist here. Anyway. So what is the core of the rape culture? It's sexual desire. Why are you feeding into it? Dressing like a corporate slut, showing cleavage, wearing heels, wearing a sexy jogger outfit. Why are you feeding into it? Who are you trying to be sexy for? Which rape cult corporation derived culture and its pecking order are you trying to impress? Outside of that, the next thing, the core of rape is sexual desire. And the sexual desire causes them to desire to control reproduction. Okay? For their kids, for themselves, who's fucking who, right? Even rape is a play on words backwards for e-pair. E-pair. E-poor. E-pair. Right? The whole idea why they're raping is to control reproduction. You get raped, so you disassociate. You get raped for not sleeping with who they want you to sleep with. You get turned out, right? Trauma-based mind control. So when we look at the cycle, and it's unfortunate I'm going to have to end this here and make a part 2. This shit pisses me off. Number 1, they are out of touch with the threat, intoxicated or not. Why do they get raped? Before you go to hang out with a bunch of rapists, why don't you perceive they're a bunch of rapists? So intoxicated or not, they're out of touch with reality. Number 2, they get raped and their subconscious is altered. Their mind state changes. How your subconscious, how your unconscious controls your behavior. Number 3, there's a refusal to find a worthy one and correct your mistake. Don't blame the victim. We didn't make any mistakes, but you did. And that goes on. Then the world is, the reproductive cycle continues. Victims are reborn, and they don't take on a they don't take on a Horus son of Ra reproductive cycle.